known daily as Maxi to her loyal customers and friends, is the founder and CEO of Livara Organic Cosmetics. The stylish business owner holds a first-class degree in electrical engineering and was a few steps away from managing director at a prestigious oil and gas company. And then she decided to risk it all. So tell our viewers how you came up with Livara. It sounds so exotic.
Oh, that was a 3-day journey. I'm a strong believer in God. I believe in praying and fasting. I decided to go on a fasting spree with my younger sister, Terry. We did 3 days of full board fasting, no drinking, no eating. So when it was the third day, we were almost giving up. We were on our way back because we couldn't continue with the fast. The name Livara came to us when we were around Seta High School, just past Seta High School. When we Googled, there was no company in the world called Livara. And Livara meant God, divine, nature, goodness, whole. It just meant all the values that we stood for. Immediately after, of course, we registered the name and we were the first company worldwide to be called Livara, which was a very good thing.
Okay. Yeah. Now, how did you come up with the concept?
I love buying makeup and doing makeup for people. Way back in school, I used to be the one tweezing people's eyebrows for the social days. They're now called prom. We would do makeup, hair, style a little bit here and there. So I've always been interested in doing such, but using my own products. However, at the time, I didn't have money for that, and I couldn't go study cosmetology. Not in Uganda, at least not in that time when I was growing up. So luckily, when I was working with Shumbaja, I had the opportunity to go around visiting different countries. I saw that natural makeup was a good thing, especially with ingredients from Africa. So I started talking to my sister about makeup and such things. Then my sister, who I partnered with, Dr. Gloria Kalirire, she's the one who asked me to look into shea butter. So that's when I started doing my research around, whenever I'd come for vacation and look around, try to get to know more the shea butter industry and the nature industry in our country. I noticed that shea butter is in huge supply in our country, and it's a perfect oil for hair, for skin, and it's $1 billion industry, of which Africa is not really benefiting. So I decided to take it upon myself to do the makeup that I was buying from Uganda at that quality for Uganda, Africa, and the world, just to prove a point that we can produce something amazing.
Okay, I have used some of your products and I must say they're really good.
Thank you.
So how many employees do you have at Livara?
We currently are 26 employees, a team of 26 including me. But of course we started out as 4 people.
With a big dream.
Yes.
What role did your formal education play in creating the Maxi that you are today?
I believe in science and technology a lot. If we were not doing research and involving scientists and chemists, I don't think we would be producing products that are as good as they actually are. Well, my parents used to always emphasize excelling in school. I was an excellent student, I must say. P7, I had 4. I was the best female student in Mokono. S4, I had 11 in 10, I think. S6, I had 23 points. Makere, I had a first-class degree in electrical engineering. I was part of the initial team that built the Kira EV, the electrical hybrid car of ours. I was working for Shumbaja, the best oil and gas service company in the world, as an expatriate, a Ugandan expatriate in Congo. So
that's incredible.
I believe in excellence academically because my excellent academic background, the formal education, has pushed me to where I am.
So you mentioned you got a first-class degree, and I think this paid off because soon after you got the well-paying job, it was paying an equivalent of 25 million to 28 million shillings
at the time.
At the time, yes. And how was it? What was the experience working for this organization?
At the beginning, it was taxing but exciting. I didn't get a job immediately after. Throughout my university life, I was working at the university on the presidential projects, the Kira EV. So I had time to study, but I had time to work and also enjoy my campus life. So I was used to a research-based environment. Then I went into jobless hiatus for about 8 months, where I quit my job at the university after graduation because it's not the direction I wanted to take in life. I wasn't sure of where I wanted to be or what I wanted to do. So after my 8 months of depression and figuring out what I wanted to do in life, that's when I got the Schlumberger job. Now, with Schlumberger, you're assigned a task and you're literally dumped into that place to start performing your role. Yes, there's a team to help you, but it's upon yourself to learn and to implement. Then there were times when I was offshore and I would spend about 3 days awake, 3 consecutive days awake because you're installing some electrical pump and there may be problems. The oil industry is like the air industry, aviation industry. Any single error can cause people to die, and the deaths are massive because you're on a rig. It burns out. There's no room for error, so you have to make sure things are perfect. In the beginning, my job was interesting and exciting, but hectic. Then as time went on, as I was developing through the ranks, there's more workload. There are bigger jobs and the responsibility is higher. So work was perfect, mentally challenging, building. It's just the emotional bit that was starting to lack. And then back home, my friends were getting married, having kids, birthdays. I lost touch with very many people. When I came back, I really had few friends that I used to talk to. So I wanted to come back and catch up on life. Yeah.
Okay. So you mentioned you had a period where you didn't know what you wanted to do. Advise people who are in the same exact position right now.
During that period is when I found God, I think. Because when you don't know what to do in life, it's like you don't know your purpose, you're lost. Right? But I'd advise people to continue to research. Research is, I like reading and finding out about things. For example, we have social media, we have data, internet, luckily. During the time when I didn't know what I wanted to do, that's when I decided to start reading more about our country, our economy. Where has Uganda come from? Where is Uganda at? Where is Uganda going? The world at large, Africa at large, where are we? Where are we going? What's the future of our economy? What things are coming up, what things are going down? And that's how I got to know about the oil and gas industry. Oh, so Uganda has been in the oil and gas industry, is becoming the in thing, and it's going to blow up big time. And then I started applying. So I advise people not to sit down at home idle, going on social media, taking pictures of boobs and I don't know what else, but to actually use even social media to their advantage. Because, for example, I read news of social media, because most people report news on social media. That's true. But so, during my hiatus of 8 months, yes, I was sad and depressed, but I read and I tried to develop myself spiritually so that I could accommodate my condition at the time. And also, when you develop yourself spiritually, there's a way in which you get a balance with the world. You start discovering who you are and what your purpose actually is. And funny enough, there's a way God connects things and gets you out of that pit. But for people to sit down at home doing nothing,
you have to actively seek.
Yeah. And then also during those 8 months, I was the housemaid at home. Like, I made sure my parents got rid of any house help. So I would clean, I would cook. I wasn't helping out, I was putting my mind to use. Because if I'm not doing that, then I get depressed. So I would literally be the one cooking, washing clothes, organizing the house. I remember it used to be spotlessly clean. If I see any dirty thing, it becomes an issue.
Yeah.
So you clean all over again. I would use my hands in the process and think and start seeing different things. Yeah. And then also I learned how to cook really well during that time. Right now I boast of being a very good chef
because of those hard trying months. You ended up quitting this very job. What inspired this decision?
When I was working in Congo, the oil and gas industry was doing really well, but the country didn't have much to show for it.
Yeah.
So I felt bad as an African. I mean, we are producing all this, but our roads are bad, our schools are bad. There are no companies that are African owned that are blossoming. I just got frustrated by it all.
Yeah.
And I think the frustration of seeing the lack of development and innovation by Africans in Africa is what spurred me to take the actual step.
After you left, what was your first step into the entrepreneurial journey?
Before I left, we had already about 9 months of product testing and development. 9 months to a year. Because I was sending money back home. I first looked for a place for manufacturing. I knew that if I quit to come back here, I believe in science and technology. So I wanted to be in a place whereby I work with scientists, I work in a formal setup where there's actual product testing, the whole industrial thing, even if I didn't have the money to do so. So I wanted that environment. So I told my grandma about it. She took me to Uganda Industrial Research Institute. She actually took me around. I was impressed with what they're doing. Yeah. It's real innovation and creativity. So I told her that I was really impressed with this, and I requested for a meeting with the head of the institute. She assured me that she'd arrange the meeting. She would not be in it. She hopes I have my business plan.
Yeah.
After she sets up her meeting, that was it. Yeah. That's her role. She's done. So I made sure I had a business plan. Before meeting with the professor, I took a tour around northern and eastern Uganda, took pictures, did a map out of the area, the shea butter, where it's located, the shea trees, tried to calculate, made sure that I had my points ready. Yeah. So after setting up the meeting, I entered alone. She was outside. In fact, she left. She told me to get a border back home. So I entered the meeting. Professor Kwesiga he believes in facts and numbers. If you don't have your numbers, he doesn't give you audience. So you really have to have your facts right, which I'm lucky I did. Okay. And I convinced him about my plan and ideas. He gave me a recommendation. He said, fine, we shall incubate you. But he assured me that you brilliant girls always come back here thinking that you can make it and then you run away. I told him, watch me.
Watch me stay.
Yeah. So he wrote on my document, very ambitious. Let's watch her. So after getting Yuri on board, Yuri has chemists, it has pests, and they provide you with the nurturing that you need to develop. I had that intact. So that's when I developed my small team with my brother. Started sending money, developing products. When we had products ready, is when I wrote my formal resignation letter, booked my ticket back, and handed them to my boss, told him what I really wanted to do with my life. And he told me first, hold on. But then I assured him that I was leaving because my ticket was booked and it was a one-way ticket, first class. I was in first class because I knew I was leaving my dream. Plus I had extra luggage, so I needed the upgrade.
Fair enough.
So he came back after 3 days with a paid leave of absence.
Okay.
Luckily, I had been leading really big projects that were very successful, so I was adding value to that team. He assured me that we're giving you one year off. So with this paid leave of absence, take 1 year. Do whatever it is that you have to do. if your projects work out, well and good. If they don't, we have a job back here for you. I told him thank you, but I knew I wasn't going back. So I came back. When I came back, first things first, how do we enter the market? I started researching. I couldn't just enter the market from Facebook alone. I had to be in some sort of expo where I can access people. The Bride and Groom Expo was about around that time. It was in June in 2015. So, and they were advertising. So I went and booked space. So I had to make sure my market entry is right. The products look good. We have a website to sell the products. We have a social media page. I just had to make sure everything is right. In case anything fails, it's not because I didn't try. It's because something happened that I couldn't control. So, yeah, that's how we came in. So I came back here. I was in the country on May 15th. June 26th, we were at the expo. And we were exhibiting products. We sold our first product at midday on 26th. My neighbor in the next booth felt pity on me because we're not selling anything. So she came over and just bought for mercy. But she opened up our blessing. Like, people started coming and buying.
What made you decide to use all natural ingredients in Livara products?
When I was in Congo, it was about 3 weeks after I had left for the Congo. I had opened my braids and I wanted to relax my hair. I had relaxed hair at that time. So I was in downtown Congo, I mean the Nakaseros of that place. Real good life places. So I went to a salon that does hair. It was operated by African ladies and they assured me that they don't work on African hair. In Congo. I was part up. So I went to a salon next door. Same thing. So when I went to the third salon, they were about to tell me again they don't work on African hair. But I told them, you're Africans. How can you not work on my hair? They assured me how they don't have products for my hair. My next step was a barber shop. This was during lunch break, by the way. So I go to a barber shop, I tell the guy, remove the hair. All of it. I had nice long hair. I had hair in my back. He first thought I was being stupid. So he chopped off a little bit and was giving me a bob. I told him, remove it all. So he gently removed it with pain. I shaved my head just like that of a P1 child. You know when you're going to boarding school? All completely off. I remember in the morning I went to work, with my hair well styled. Came back after lunch. My boss thought I had run mad. I didn't know. I was rebelling. So from that time, it's from then that I decided I would just grow my hair naturally. Not put chemical, not do anything. So involuntarily, indirectly, I started my whole natural journey like that.
What is the biggest obstacle you faced with Livara?
For starters, it's mentality, again, of Ugandans. Many Ugandans believe that products from abroad are better than products that are made here. Given, I understand that several times in the past, the people who have come up with products that are good, and then 6 months down the road, the products are alterated and fake products get released. Then also in the past, branding was not a big issue. So I understand that people think the products made from here are not of good quality. There is that. But then there's a new breed of products and entrepreneurs right now who are actually making good things, and most times they're even better than products that are imported because we understand what we're using, we know what we're using, and we actually tell people what we are using. Unlike products that they bring in, they have all sorts of chemicals, they are banning people, and people don't understand. But because of the mentality that something from abroad is better than something here, it kills the market. The other thing is, because we have stores, we rent space in different places. Now, having landlords charge us in dollars in a Uganda shillings economy is very sad. I don't even understand how our government can accept that. It's just wrong. And that has limited us because the shilling is continually falling, rising. It's not stable. But how can I be in my country, Uganda, and I pay for rent in US dollars? That is very limiting for our economy.
Tell our viewers 3 moments with the Livara journey that have stood out for you.
Opening our first shop at NSIMENTA. That was a big step. I was studying the market before then, and we're making revenue about 2 million, 3 million. I was selling goods in my car, delivering. It was hard because I was making losses because our costs of production were about 4.5 million per month, but we were not matching up. But I had planned for that, so it was okay.
Our planner.
Yeah. So when we opened our first shop, I literally saw sales rise from 1.67 million the previous month in November to 11.9 million in December. In just like that. For me, that was huge. I couldn't believe that it was possible. And it spoke blessings into my life. And ever since, it has just been a upward journey. Second moment for Livara was when Babi Chagulani posted about the products that she had been using from Livara on social media. So I had been following this lady, Bobby Wine's wife. When we opened the shop in December, she would come to our shop and buy products. Unfortunately, I was never there at the time. So she would come. I only saw pictures from Susie, one of my colleagues. She'd send me pictures. Oh, Babi has been here. And she came consistently. So December, January. And she'd come around the 20th of every month on the dot to refill her products. In January, she posted on social media saying that people have used these products. They are amazing. My hair is growing. I was in shock. Then she continued coming. And like her post literally saw our sales rise from 300k to like 2 million in a day. It was amazing. And it created credibility for us. So I saw her continue to come to the shop. Then after about 6 months, I developed courage to go and meet her in the shop. Like I told my girl, call me when she's around. So when she came, I met with her. It's like, oh my God, thank you so much for coming to the shop. Like humble. And she was like, I believe in your products. I believe in what you're doing, the dream. It's like, wow. People actually believe in these things. I had some, star praise moments. It's like, And later on, she accepted to be an ambassador for us because she actually uses and likes her products. And I was so happy with that. So that was moment number 2. The third was when our employment rose from 4 people to 25. When we opened this Tinder shop, we just had to increase because production had to increase. Here I employ about 14 people stationed here. So the fact that I was employing more, for me, it's a huge plus for the business. That means we're impacting people's lives. Because I may be employing one, but then she has about 3 people dependent on her or him. So that was huge. And I want to reach 2,000 people that I'm employing. So I hope I get there.
So definitely will with the 6,000 shops that you want.
Oh, then I have a 4th moment when we took on. We support the families of the people who supply us with share nuts. So we educate kids who seem to be intelligent but don't necessarily have the means to go to school. And there was this moment when they sent their report cards and they had really improved their school. I was so happy. Like finally we have chemistry in the making. Anyway, it was a good thing, and we have about 7 of them right now. So yeah,
You're like now they're mother figure.
no, Livara is their parents.
So you inspire naturalists and women in general in Uganda.
I pray I do.
You do.
I do.
So which 3 women in Africa inspire you?
3 women in Africa. For starters, I like keeping it low. Babi Chagulani inspires me.
For me,
He stalked her for some time. Sorry, when I was in Congo, I used to. There's some people you stalk because it does not.
yeah.
So I used to stalk her. I like her life journey. I like the way she and her husband have really, in her eyes, literally rose from nothing to something.
Yeah.
I like the fact that she's God-fearing, that she has dreams
Yes.
and plans, and she's down to earth.
Yeah.
And she is not pretentious. She's my number 1 inspiration. Yeah.
I hope Babi is listening.
She better be. Second, well, it's my grandmother, Teresa Mbiri.
Yeah.
I want to be like her, but better. The reason why she inspires me is because I have an intimate understanding of her actual life journey. Her and my actual grandmother are sisters. These are people who came from Kabali, their roots. And look at what she has accomplished in life. She has literally built a name. And she continues to guide people. So from real village, it's not even rags, because rags you're in town. This is village bushman life. She's a qualified primary school teacher, right? She ended up being the first actual businesswoman in Uganda, opening the first bakery, the first flower shop, the first garment factory. Like, there are so many firsts. Uganda Women Entrepreneurs Association was started by her. They have a bank, that was actually started by her. So there's so many things she has accomplished with her limited level of education and with her terrible background. So I really want to be like her. She has been recognized by Obama, by the heights of. She has been recognized by the Pope, for crying out loud. The people at the helm of the world have recognized her efforts. Then the third woman I admire has African origins.
Okay.
But is not necessarily
Africa.
as in from Africa. This would be Oprah.
Okay.
She's a standard. But no, why? Because she's taken over. She's the richest. There's a time when she was the richest woman alive. And for me, it's power.
Yeah.
I like people who have power. They're powerful and they impact. They bring value to people's lives with the power that they have. I want to be as powerful as she is. Well, financially and socially. Why? Because I really want to add value to the Africa that we come from.
Do you think success can be attributed to luck, one's efforts, or God, or all 3 combined?
All 3.
Okay.
There's no going around it. For starters, we are useless creatures on this planet without a God to guide us, one way or the other. We have purposes in our lives that are put upon us by higher beings, because we may know where we come from, but we don't know where we're going. However, it's also hard work. I mean, if you do not work hard, there is nowhere you're going. Look at the very famous Kim Kardashian that everyone is all about. That lady works hard. People may think she's dense and all, but she actually works hard. And then the first point to mention was luck. There's always timing and luck they move hand in hand. You may start a brilliant idea that is beautiful at a brilliant period of time, but it's not the right time to effect it. There's Ulukaya, the gentleman of Chobani yogurt in the US. Chobani yogurt is Greek yogurt. It took them 7 years to have the highest market share of yogurt sales in the US, from 0.1% market share to 57% market share of an immigrant. Chobani yogurt is owned by an immigrant in the US. Again, timing, luck, somehow play hand in hand.
What is your interpretation of the statement, being broke made me rich?
I've been broke before. Being broke makes you think. Brokenness is not good. Oh my God. Brokenness is not good. There's a time when we were starting this salon, it cost so much money just to set it up. And there's a time when my account had 1,204 shillings. I could not withdraw ATM. You can't withdraw that money. I was broke, literally broke. But something had to happen. So when you're broke, you start thinking. It literally activates your thinking capacity.
Because you have no choice.
You have no choice. So next step, where do I get money from? Oh my God, I have to retail, I have to distribute, I have to do something else. You really have to think.
What is your favorite song right now?
Again, I go local. There's this Silver Chagulanyi song. Olunaku Luno. I don't know. No. There's this Olunaku song. It's about him dedicating his day to God. It has been my favorite song for a while because it just makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah. I like Ugandan songs. They make sense.
They
Whether
have
it's
a lot
stupid
of-
sense or nice sense.
Lastly, Maxi, give a word of encouragement to people in their 20s who are on the verge of taking the risk into entrepreneurship.
Entrepreneurship is a journey that is full of challenges. You know, when you don't have a steady paycheck coming in, you have to fight for each and every penny that's going to come into your account. And you have lives of people that you're actually not taking care of. Entrepreneurship is not easy. It's not easy. It's a mental game. Say when a sale hasn't gone through, or when you're running broke yet you have to pay people. You have to keep your word because you promise people you'd pay them. If you don't pay them, then it does affect them. The market may not play up to your game for some time. For 1.5 years we were making losses, but patience and persistence to move on is what kept us moving. Recently we closed at the Cube shop at NSIMENTA because we got another franchise buyer, but by closing it I had to play, it's a game. People may see your shop closed and think, oh my God, you're running broke or something is wrong. Yet in actuality, you're doing something else that is developing you. So also with entrepreneurship, you have to literally be a person of your word, and you have to have a steady, stand on your decisions. You should. Entrepreneurship is not a journey where you have to mind what people think. It's not a societal game. Because there's lots of naysayers. There's lots of people who so you have to fight for yourself. Before you take the leap, make sure that you know yourself as a person, that you really like what you're going to do, and you will fight tooth and nail for it, because it's a fun journey when things are have settled. But before, it's hard. It's really, really hard. So make sure you're steady as a person, you have your God to lean on, and you're ready to work hard. You
have to be ready to give it your all.
Your all. There's no half in, half out.
Wow. Thank you, Maxima.
Thank you.
I hope this episode has inspired everyone to have the courage to do what they love, and for the ladies to give everything natural a try. Thank you for watching KACHAI. Follow us on our social media platforms. Have a lovely day.
If you're not watching KACHAI, you're not taking KACHAI. Hello, mommy. Hello, daddy.
No, cute shout out.